all of us have heard about Einstein, that famous guy. And it's about 100 years now from his theory that has really changed the whole world, actually, because he said that everything is energy. And what he means by everything is energy, he was a physicist. So he was not just playing with words and saying something that he grabbed from somewhere. He was really doing the experiments. And he figured out that when a table, a chair, any material piece is taken down into the subatomic level, so into the smallest particles, and if you have somebody observe these particles, the subatomic particles, these particles change. And that is really revolutionary. So imagine the table in front of you. If you observe it, if you focus your attention, and we are again at our attention and the energy is related to our attention. If we focus on that table and just observe it, not doing anything else, at the subatomic level, that table will change. An atom has several parts, and one of the parts are electrons. And the electrons start to move differently. They start to behave differently under the microscope than when nobody is observing it. And there are many more experiments like that. So that is the ultimate evidence, actually, that the spirit is over matter, mind over matter. Yeah? Mm-hmm. This is the evidence, and science recognizes the evidence. So they recognize that that Einstein has produced evidence that the atoms change under observation. Now that brings me to the second point. Why are we not behaving that way? Because all our systems, our schooling system, our health system, all the political systems, they still are dating back to Newton, who bases his theory on purely materialism, so that everything comes from the material side, which Einstein has proved wrong. But why is it so that we still hang on to that Newtonian physics? It is because science needs to measure an experiment to recognize it. Now, what the experiment did is not measurable. It's not measurable because it depends on the observer. Every observer will produce a different result. And so when you observe the table, the electrons will behave differently than when I observe the table. So science said, well, this is not measurable. We don't recognize it. Full stop.
That's so interesting. Yeah. That changes the whole ball game of science. So every scientific piece of evidence that comes out is dependent on the energy of the person that performed it, or the person that was present in the experiment, let's say. Maybe if it was a machine doing it, but the person that touched it, the person that was present, the person's energy that was around there, if we go by what you're saying and Einstein's theory, is that it affects the observation theory, that it changes. So right. We can never be sure in that sense. Yeah. It's kind of enlightening.
Again, it depends on our own energy, on the observer's energy. What is the result? And there is, of course, science never changed their criteria. So they never actually recognized what Einstein has proved. So the second reason, in my opinion, and that's my personal opinion, is that there would be no control. You cannot control anything. Then if the mind is over the matter, then we are totally empowered. And who wants that?
What you make out of it. That's so empowering. Wow.
Yeah. So it's a total empowerment of people, and there are many reasons why many do not want that to happen. And that's also the shift in the dimensions, in my understanding, that we have to recognize that. We have to recognize and realize that we are over the material world.